Long ago, during the time when judges ruled Israel, there was a terrible famine in the land. Food was scarce, families were struggling, and many people did not know how they would survive. In the town of Bethlehem lived a man named Elimelech, his wife Naomi, and their 2 sons. Desperate to find food and safety, Elimelech decided to leave Bethlehem and move his family to the land of Moab. At first, it seemed like the right choice, but soon tragedy struck. Elimelech died, leaving Naomi alone in a foreign land. Her only comfort was her 2 sons. As time passed, the sons married Moabite women. One was named Orpah, and the other was Ruth. For a while, life seemed peaceful again. Naomi may have hoped that the worst was over. But then another terrible blow came. Both of Naomi's sons died. Now Naomi was completely alone. She had no husband, no sons, and no clear future. She was an old widow living far from home, carrying nothing but pain and sorrow. Then Naomi heard that the famine in Bethlehem had ended, so she decided to return home. Before leaving, Naomi told her daughters-in-law to stay in Moab and rebuild their lives. She did not want them to suffer with her. Orpah cried and said goodbye. But Ruth made a decision that would change everything. Ruth looked at Naomi and said, "Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God." Ruth chose loyalty over comfort. She left behind her homeland, her family, and everything familiar to stay with Naomi. Together, the 2 widows traveled back to Bethlehem, not knowing what the future would hold. When they arrived, the people in town were excited to see Naomi again. But Naomi was filled with sadness. She told the people, "Do not call me Naomi," which means pleasant. "Call me Mara," which means bitter, because my life has become very bitter. Naomi and Ruth were poor. They had no money, no land, and no one to take care of them. So Ruth went into the fields to gather leftover grain behind the harvesters. This was work usually done by the poorest people, but Ruth was willing to do whatever she could to survive. By what seemed like chance, Ruth ended up working in the field of a wealthy man named Boaz. Boaz noticed Ruth right away. He saw how hard she worked under the hot sun, but more than that, he had heard about her kindness and loyalty to Naomi. Boaz treated Ruth with respect. He made sure she was safe. He gave her food and told his workers to leave extra grain for her to collect. For the first time in a long time, Ruth and Naomi began to feel hope again. Then Naomi realized something important. Boaz was a close relative of her late husband. According to their law, he could become their kinsman redeemer, someone who could help protect and restore their family. So Naomi came up with a bold plan, and Ruth agreed. One night, Ruth went to the threshing floor where Boaz was sleeping after the harvest. She quietly approached him and lay at his feet, a sign that she was asking for his protection and help. When Boaz woke up and saw Ruth there, he was surprised. Ruth humbly asked him to redeem their family. Boaz responded with kindness and honor. He told Ruth that he would help her. However, there was one problem. Another man was an even closer relative and had the first right to redeem Naomi's family. The next day, Boaz met with the man in front of the town leaders. When the man heard everything involved, he gave up his right. So Boaz stepped forward. He redeemed Naomi's land, he married Ruth, and he gave both women a new future. What began as a story of loss and sadness became a story of love, hope, and redemption. Soon, Ruth gave birth to a son named Obed. Naomi, who once believed her life was full of bitterness, now held her grandson in her arms with joy. But Ruth's story was not only about her own family. Her son Obed became the grandfather of King David, and many years later, from that same family line, Jesus Christ would be born. The story of Ruth reminds us that even in our darkest moments, there is still hope. It shows us that loyalty matters, faith matters, and God can turn pain into purpose. Sometimes, the greatest blessings come after the greatest heartbreak. This is the beautiful story of Ruth.